Warm up for surface areas of prisms and pyramids. So here is the prism formula. So remember to find the lateral area. You're going to find the perimeter and multiply it by the height. To find total area of a prism, you're going to multiply the base area times 2 and then add the lateral area. And again, remember, lateral area is perimeter times height. So let's go ahead and take a look. Now, when it's a rectangular prism, you can choose what is the base. So just to keep things a little simplified, what I'm going to do is I'm going to indicate my base area as the top and the bottom. So my base area is a rectangle. So I'm going to do 5 times 12, which is 60. And then from there, I can also find the perimeter of that. So 2 times 12 plus 2 times 5, perimeter is 34. And then I'll multiply it by the height to get the lateral area. So my lateral area is 204 units squared. My total area, I'm going to take the base area, which was 60, times it by 2, and then add in the lateral area that I already calculated. So 324 units squared. Now, if you chose a different base, your lateral area might be different. However, your total area should be the same. Any questions on those first two? All right, the next one is the triangular prism. So notice my base is a triangle. You're looking for whatever shapes you have 2 of. It's a right triangle base. So I needed to find the length of that other side. If you realize that this was a triple, it's a 3, 4, 5. If not, you would do Pythagorean theorem. So my perimeter is 3 plus 4 plus 5, and that's going to be 12. I'm going to multiply it by the height of my prism, which is 20. So my lateral area is 240 units squared. Then for the total area, I'm going to take that base area, and I would find that by 1/2 base times height. And my base, I'm going to use these two numbers, 3 times 4, divide by 2, and my base area is 6. So then I'm going to come over here, 2 times 6, and then plus the lateral area I calculated, so 252 units squared. Everybody good? All right, let's keep going.
I don't understand how you got to 52.
So I found the area of both red triangles by doing 1/2 base times height. So I did 1/2, 3 times 4, and that's 3 times 4 is 12. Half of that is 6. So the 2 base areas, so 2 times 6 is 12. And then I took the lateral area that I calculated up above, and then I added 240 plus 12 and got 252.
Okay. The triangle?
It's a right triangle, so I could think of this as being a base, and this is the height. Remember, the height is always indicated by a right angle.
Okay.
Next.
You find the height.
All right. Now, this one was a bit challenging. So for this one, we had to be given, these formulas only work when our base is a regular figure. So my base was actually an equilateral triangle. So they told me that the length of K was 3 and the height of my pyramid was 4. So then what we're going to do here is this figure down here is the base. It's the equilateral triangle. So remember, when you have an equilateral triangle, if I have my center point here, and if I draw in my radii, which is going to create this central angle, I take 360, divide it by the number of sides, which is 3, and then I get my central angle here is 120. From there, once I draw in my apothem, which was my K, then I can make a special right triangle. So then from there, and I'll just redraw it over here. The central angle of this 120 is now bisected and it's now 60. Remember, the side across from 30 is x. This one's x root 3 and this one's 2x. Well, my x is my k, because if you notice, I pulled the bottom out and then here is k. So this is 3. So this side's going to be 3 root 3. This will be 2 times 3. And this side's, the radius is 6. So now that I have that information, now I can go back and I can use to find my base area, my 1/2 ANS. So my A, my apothem was 3. The number of sides is 3. And my side length is 6 square root 3. Because remember, this was 3 square root 3, but remember, this is 3 square root 3, and so is this. So when I add it, that's how I get the 6 square root 3 for all the sides of my triangle. Now, keep in mind, this one is really tough. So don't get a little discouraged here. Now, so for my slant height, that came about from doing a special right triangle here, and it's a 3, 4, 5. So I had actually over here. So this is my special right triangle, and that's how I found the slant height, which is the L. To find the lateral edge, I have to make another right triangle over here. And now I've got the slant height, which is 5. I've got this side length, which is 3 square root 3. And now I can find this LE. And I do Pythagorean theorem. And I get 2 square root 13. So now to find the lateral area, I'm going to take the side length, which was 6 square root 3, and times it by 3. And that's how I get 18 square root 3. So that gives me the perimeter. And now I multiply perimeter times slant height, divide by 2, or times by 1/2. So my lateral area is 45 square root 3. Then for total area, you're going to find the area of the base, which is that triangle. So if you come over here and you do the 1/2 ANS, that's the area of the base, 27 square root 3. Then add in the lateral area, which is what you calculated right here in number 8, and then add them. They both have the same root, so it's 72 square root 3. I don't think you're going to have anything this challenging, but just be aware of this is how you would take on something like this. Pretty good? All right, let's go on to the next page. Now, this one was not in your warm-up, but this would be something more of what you would have gotten. So this is actually a square pyramid, and let me walk you through how you would do something like this. So for something like this, what you would do is to find, let's say I gave you the side length of the square, it's a 4, and let's say this time I gave you the slant height. So let's say starting out, I told you the side length of the base is 4, and I gave you the lateral height. So in order to find a lateral edge, and this is what you're going to need later on, and you're also going to need the height, you would turn that into a right triangle and do Pythagorean theorem. So to find a lateral edge, you're going to do 2 squared plus 5 squared, and then that would give you, once you square it and add it, would give you the length of this lateral edge. To find the lateral area, you're going to do the 1/2 perimeter times slant height. We already knew the side of our square was 4, so 4 times 4 gave me 16, times the slant height, and you get 40 meters squared. Total area, Remember, you find the area of the base plus the lateral area. Lateral area is 1/2 perimeter times slant height. We already did that, and that was 40 meters squared. My base is a square, 4 times 4, so 16 plus 40, and 56 meters squared. So these are the formulas you need to memorize or have written down for pyramids. This would be more like the type of question you would see on your test. Everybody good?
Corey,
Yes.
what do we use the lateral edge for?
You're going to be using some of this information. You might be given that, and then maybe you'd have to work backwards and then find the slant height. So I just wanted to bring that in here just in case that was given to you and you needed to find, say, a slant height. So for this, we're not using it in either of the formulas, but you might need it to find, say, a slant height or a side length.
Okay.
So over here, and this wasn't in your thing, but this is what I recommend you should be doing, is starting a formula sheet. Either write down, now all of these formulas are only for regular polygons. So far, we've talked about prisms and pyramids. We've also learned how to find the lateral area and the total area. Remember, total area is also surface area. For prisms, we've also found lateral area for pyramids and lateral and total area or surface area for pyramids. Memorize these, have it written down. What you just learned, and what we're going to go over the homework, is the formula for lateral area of a surface area, lateral area for a cylinder, lateral area for a cone, total area for a cylinder, total area for a cone. What you're going to be doing for homework over the next week is you're going to be learning volume of a prism and volume of a cylinder. Once you watch that video, you can add this to your running formula. So the test is going to be open notes, so I highly recommend you have a formula sheet. I would have it all written down on a piece of paper, so you don't have to keep opening every single piece of notes to find the formulas. Have it all in one place. You'll be using your calculator, and you can have your formula sheet. Pretty good? Okay, let's keep going. Remember, I wrote down the formulas. So let's use. This is the warm-up for cylinders and cones. So here, let me see if I have. On this slide back here, them. So for number 1 here, it asks you to find the lateral area. Remember, the lateral area formula for a cylinder is 2 times pi times radius times height. Remember, this is the circumference, and then you multiply it by the height. So that's what we're using in this column. And then for total area, remember, we're going to find the 2 base areas plus the lateral area. Remember, in a cylinder, the base is a circle. So 2 pi r squared plus 2 pi r height. And that's what we're using for total area. So the answer for number 1, lateral area, is 100 pi units squared. And for the total area, it's 150 pi units squared. For number 2, 6 pi square root of 7 units squared. Now the order of this, you could have also done it like this. The order of the 6, the square root of 7, and pi doesn't matter. I like to write the radical at the end, but that's up to you. And then over here, notice this one, we can't combine the 14 pi with the 6 pi radical 7 because the 14 pi does not have a square root of 7. Everybody good on 1 and 2? All right, number 3, this is the cone, 3 and 4. So here are the formula for lateral area. It's pi RL. And then total area is the area of the base, which is a circle, pi r squared, again, plus lateral area, which is pi RL. So for number 3, I did it in the red here. So here's the lateral area, 65 pi, and the total area is 90 pi. For number 4, it's over here in the green. Lateral area is 136 pi, and total area is 200 pi units squared. So this one's units squared. All area, whether it's total area, lateral area, or just an area question, the units are always squared. Pretty good on that? All right. Let's go on. And let's check the homework. Now I'm going to zoom into each of the questions. I'm going to show you it, and if you need me to explain anything, I'll explain. So for number 1, now when you're doing your homework, you need to show work. If all you told me was this and this, you're going to lose points on your homework. Okay, I know you're using a calculator, but you need to show me how you're plugging it into the formula. If you're not showing me work, I'm gonna start giving you like 60s and 50s on your homework. You have to show work. No work, and your grade for homework is gonna go down drastically. Any questions on number 1? Okay, here's number 2. Pretty good on those. This is definitely a lot easier than the prisms and the pyramids. The cones and the cylinders are a lot easier. Pretty good on 2. Number 3 and 4. Pretty good. Any questions? Okay, let me move it. Okay, next will be number 6. So here, I'll just move it in here. Here's 6. Answer is 1.5. If you left it as 3/2, that's fine. So that's your radius. To be able to find missing pieces. Number 8, again, we're looking for the radius. After we square root 25, the answer is 5. Again, I need to see the work. No work, no credit. Okay, now we're going to be filling in the chart, just like we did in the warm-up. So here are 10. Here, I'll just do it one at a time. So for number 10, we were looking for the lateral area and the total area.
Miss Corey,
Yes.
can you go back to number 8?
Yes. Everybody good on that?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, let's show number 10. So again, you're looking for the lateral area and the total area. Your slant height is 10. Here's number 11. We were looking again for lateral area and total area. For number 12, we were looking to find the radius, lateral area, and total area. So you first had to find the radius, and that ended up being 4 square root 2, and then plug it into the formulas. That one was a little bit more work. Anybody still need that one? Okay, let me move to 13. So here you had to find the radius, the height, and the total area. So they had already given us the lateral area. We had to work backwards first, find the radius, and then from there, it's a triple. If you didn't recognize your triple, then you had to do Pythagorean theorem. So again, it will be beneficial if you memorize your triples. This is a scaled up 3, 4, 5. And then number 14. You're going to use your lateral area to find your slant height, and then from there, use Pythagorean theorem to find the height of the triangle, and then from there, plug everything in to find the total area.
Can you go back to 10?
Yes. Pretty good on those? Anybody need me to go back to any other questions?
Can you go back to 12?
Yes. So again, have the formulas written down. Have your calculator ready to go. Make sure you're practicing using the calculator that you're going to use for the test. Again, remember the test is not next week. It'll be the week after. And it's going to cover all of the surface areas and all of the volume. We're not going to get to 11.8. We're not going to do spheres, but we're going to do prisms, pyramids, cones, and cylinders. So write down all the formulas for all of those 4 solids for lateral area, total area, and volume. And then again, also be able to manipulate them. If I give you, say, the lateral area already calculated, be able to find a slant height or a radius. Now, keep in mind, and I know there was some confusion about this, because we're splitting up the schedule into 2 days, an A day and a B day, you have different due dates than my other classes. So for example, your homework for this was due today. However, my GH period and my J period, their homework's not due till next week. So just keep in mind that you have to look to see when yours is due. Don't talk to anybody in any of the other classes because they have different due dates. All right, so just make sure you're watching your own to-do list and make sure you're turning in all of your assignments on time, and also make sure that you are showing the work. No work, no credit. Okay, you want to get that nice 100 for your homework. So again, you should be practicing using your calculator. Make sure you're writing down the formulas and keeping track of this. Luckily for you, because we're doing this virtually, you're going to get to use a formula sheet. If we were actually in school, you would not get a formula sheet. You'd be memorizing all of these formulas. So you do have a bit of an advantage because you're going to be able to write down formulas and use your notes. Anybody have any questions? Everybody good? All right, I will be posting the video, so you do have homework because I won't see you guys again until next Wednesday. So your homework is to watch the volume formula, the volume video, which I'm going to post momentarily. You're going to watch the volume video on prisms and cylinders. You're going to complete the notes. You're going to turn in the notes, and you're going to turn in the homework assignment. And that's due next Wednesday. Anybody have any questions for me? We do have around 15 minutes. I do highly recommend that you do the warm-up also for volume, just to save time. I may end up adding a homework assignment for the volume warm-up, just so you'll have it done ahead of time. But if I end up not posting it, just get it done ahead of time as I wait for everybody to come into the class on Wednesday. You can be working on that. Anyone have any questions? Anybody need me to go back to any of the homework questions? All right, so if there's no questions, I'll go ahead and get that volume video posted and you guys can start watching that. I highly recommend that you don't wait till the weekend. Maybe try to get it done this afternoon and then you can just enjoy the rest of the week and your weekend. And then I will see you guys on Wednesday. Okay, any questions before we go? All right, so have a wonderful week and I will see you guys next week. Have a happy Easter. And that's it, if nobody has any questions.
Bye, Miss Corey.
Okay, bye, have a good week. Have a happy Easter.
Bye, Corey.
Bye.
Bye, Miss Corey.